family members, and in this case, potentially church family members. Uh, Bear with me while I get positioned here. Um, this is an open letter to my childhood church, the church I technically still belong to, although I haven't lived where it's located for quite some time, but I do still feel connected to the church family. And the other day I found a little, like, we're thinking of you card they had sent me probably a bit ago. And somehow the card kind of got misplaced. And my parents had just left. I was here by myself and knew I was going to be for a while and still getting over being sick and everything had been stressful. And opening that card and reading it was a very nice feeling. So, got me thinking about the church's role in what is going on right now. I am queer. I didn't know that until I was 35, because I never could find a queer label that made sense to me. I'm not gay, I'm not bi, I'm not, it just didn't, I couldn't find anything that fit. And what it is I am aromantic. It means I don't feel romantic attraction. And so I don't want to have romantic relationships. And finding that label in my community was such a wonderful, life-changing thing for me. And I wish it happened earlier. And I know more than one person who grew up in the same church, in Chapel Hill Church with me, that was queer at the time that they were going to church. They didn't necessarily know that, like I did. And so I just want to underline that whether you guys know it or not, you have raised up children who are good, solid Christian children who are queer. And I can't help but think that there are queer members in the church right now. Obviously, I haven't been attending the sermons because I'm in Florida and y'all are in West Virginia, but I'm begging you to be very open and upfront about being a safe haven for the queer people in the community, for immigrants in the community, for people of color, for the poor, for everyone who is already marginalized, trans people, aromantic people like me. People don't realize that every single flavor of queer is extremely at risk right now. J.D. Vance has straight up said some eugenic kind of stuff. He would like to get rid of aromantic people. He doesn't like people like me existing. He's flat out said that. He said that people like me are like the most evil, pernicious thing. I have the direct quote somewhere. If you look on my YouTube channel and my back catalog there, it's there. You can literally see it. And, obviously everyone knows they're going after trans people, not just trans kids, but trans people of all ages. They just want trans people to go away and not exist. And while they haven't yet discussed what that means, it's kind of obvious where you're going with that. You're going to either have to force people in the closet, throw them in jail, or extrajudicially murder them. Those are the options if you want to get rid of trans people. Because trans people are everywhere. I know a lot of trans people. You probably know trans people. And if you don't, then you ought to, because they're just normal people. I know trans people who are conservative. I know trans people who are Christians, atheist, very liberal, I know trans people who are on every part of the spectrum of human existence, basically. I know them from work. I've known people who are my neighbors that are trans. I've had friends, close friends that are trans. And I'm so scared for them. Right now, the church needs to stand up because, I'm sorry, I feel like our religion has been hijacked by, the ruling class to fool the masses into forgetting what Christianity is all about. Jesus said the most important commandment is to love God with all your heart. And then the second is to love your neighbor. The two most important things in Christianity are about love. And yet it feels like most of the Christians in this country are acting like Christianity is law that you have to live by. And that they want to impose their interpretation of what Christianity is on every single person in this country. And that's terrifying, honestly. That's why we have all these Protestant denominations, so that we can find a church that speaks to us and that the interpretation feels right. To me, faith is such a gift. It's helped me through my cancer. It's certainly helping me now. It's helped me with my mental health issues. I've been dealing with, thoughts of wishing that my life was over for one way or the other, because I hurt all the time, and I don't have any financial support, and everything seems like so overwhelming and difficult, and it feels like nothing's ever going to get better. And when those thoughts consume me, I pray. And it helps. When I ask him for help, he's there for me. And I feel like we all know what's right and what's wrong. If we listen to him, he tells us. And it feels to me like we have this large evangelical contingent that sees it as a set of rules that as long as you appear to follow the rules, you can get away with whatever. And to me, sin is something that's between you and God. He knows what you've done. He knows if you felt like what you were doing was harmful or sinful and you did it anyway. He knows. And I feel like these evangelicals are perverting what Christianity is seen as, connecting it to a political ideology, which is vastly inappropriate. And they've turned Christianity in people's mind as something like judgmental. Instead of thinking that person is Christian, they're going to be welcoming, they're going to be kind, they're going to take care of the people around them. People think they're Christian, they might start hurling slurs at me or telling me that, I'm going to hell or way worse things. Or they'll go to the State House or the Capitol building and pass laws that will make me a second-class citizen. These are the things that I'm concerned about. And the nativity. I think about Christmas, and there was no room in the inn. And yet these travelers, somebody gave them a place to stay so that Mary had a place to give birth to her child. How can you grow up hearing that story and not think that we are obligated by Jesus' own command to love those people, all of them? I have friends from all over the world, and some of them have immigrated here, and I'm terrified for them. I hope the church can come out and make a strong, public, clear stance that they will support their queer members and queer members of Buchanan, of Upshur County, and that they will protect and shelter immigrants. We grew up in Buchanan, West Virginia, where a little immigrant girl, a girl from an immigrant family, grew up to be the White House correspondent on CBS. Weijia Jiang is one of our, definitely our most famous export at this point. And we were blessed to have her in our community because of immigration, because of diversity, because she was included. And I'm so proud every time I see her. I think about during the first Trump administration when she was the one who would stand up to him and ask questions. And even though he, made a racist comment towards her, she didn't give up. I found that so inspiring. Just a girl who went to the same high school as me. She's like a grade behind me, I think. It's so wild. Our community has so much going for it. I love Buchanan. I miss Buchanan. I do. Small towns like Buchanan are often painted as backwater and homogenous and, uncultured. And, there's some of that, I'm not going to deny. But I grew up in Buchanan. I grew up in that tiny little town that's in the geographic center of West Virginia, going to punk rock shows in the back of a bar or the Hodgesville Community Center. We have all the subcultures that you can think of. They're there in Buchanan. When I was growing up, it was the skaters and the rednecks and the preps. We have, a lot of counterculture people and a lot of mainstream people too. And our community generally deals with that really well. But there's also times when it shows its sort of backwards thinking too. And right now is a great opportunity for the church to stand up and show some leadership and show support to the meek, the least of these, the people who are left behind, people who are scared, people who know that our leaders right now do not care about our existence. You know, Donald Trump has a nephew who is disabled, non-ambulatory, nonverbal. And he suggested to his nephew's father that, why do you keep trying to keep that guy alive? He doesn't have any quality of life. Just let him die. That's, the allegation that has been made by, it's technically the disabled man is Trump's great nephew, and his nephew is the one who has made that allegation. And I don't think that sounds out of character. I have no reason to not believe what he has said. That's the kind of people my dad worked with. You know, we have all kinds of disabled people in that community, in our community. And we have people who have mental health issues, chronic health issues like I do. We need you. We need you. We need you right now. We need you to make sure that we know that there are still good people who really truly follow Christ's commandments. I'm so grateful for all the support that I've gotten from the church through all of my health issues, and so grateful for the childhood I had growing up in that church. It shaped me in so many wonderful ways. My grandma Brady used to say that the dear Lord loves wonderful variety. And it's true. The Lord made me aromantic. It is a deep-seated thing that I've felt all my life. I just did not have words for 35 years, which is wild. He doesn't make mistakes. God loves all his children, and he wants us to love all his children. And so I implore you, Chapel Hill Church and any other church family out there, now is the time to take a stand. Now is the time to really focus on what Jesus needs from us. I think, a recurring theme in the Bible is Jesus helping those in need. The fish and loaves of bread and feeding all of those people. Healing the sick, housing the homeless, respecting the people who are on the margins of society. I hope that Jesus will be proud of what my church does. I hope that we can remember that God is our judge and we are not to judge others. It's hard. We have the impulse to do so. But, he knows way more than we do. And golly, we got enough to think about. Do we really need to think about judging other people? Just give it up to God. Let him have it. We need community in every variety that it could possibly be right now. That's what we need. And I believe my church family is a good place to seek that community. And I hope that they prove me right on that. Well, family members, I hope you have a wonderful day today. I will give you a little bit of animal action. We got Casey on the dog bed that they just will not keep the liner on. We've tried. It's not gonna happen. We got Leslie. And of course, Kimmy Butt. Now, family members, bless you. I love you. Take care of yourselves. If you're one of my regular viewers that is not Christian, I hope that this wasn't like uncomfortable for you in any way. I know Christianity has gotten some unfortunate connections and implications, and I hope that changes. Because to me, it has been such a blessing. And I hope that is the case for all of you out there, family members who happen to have faith. And those of you that are atheists, I love you anyway. Or not anyway. I love you no matter what. Like, I know some really nice atheists. I have no problem with atheists. Okay, I am really off topic here. I'm just gonna end this. I gotta end it.